On the left is Ara, the strongest person on the planet, and on the right is Herring, the boy that the girls' only nation call the Prince Behemoth. In this world, the girls rule the world. But since most don't know who their siblings are, how would Herring know if Ara is actually his sister? Nonetheless, the story continues with Ara ganking Herring from the sky unsuspectingly, as Prince Behemoth thought Puzzle was a sacred place meant for elite foxes to extract seeds from them. Luckily, Herring has the reflexes of Faker, so he's able to successfully dodge the surprise attack. Herring then fails his attempt at defusing the situation, since Ara is trying her hardest to cosplay Angelina Jolie as Mrs. Smith. But surprisingly, unlike Karim, Herring is able to withstand all her blows with ease, almost as if Herring should be the rank 1 swordsman for the wolves instead. Regardless, Ara continues on with her onslaught of attacks, telling Herring that winning over her collar has intended consequences, but our boy is too slick with his moves. With Herring continuing to dodge every single attack, we discover that Ara has been testing his power level, since she expected him to be much stronger than everyone else thought. As such, Ara stops attacking and pins him near a wall, asking Herring if he realizes who she truly is, as no man should be able to keep up with her attacks. She then claims that no one can fool her, so she questions Herring why he allowed her to easily attack him days before. Of course, Herring deflects the question, responding by turning his mouth into the forbidden hole and replies by saying he has zero idea to what she's referring to. After calling the Prince Behemoth a terrible liar, the two decide to restart the ordeal, since they forgot to flip over the hourglass inside the room. Meanwhile, the servants from outside the door begin to think that the lovebirds are some kind of rough couple, as they constantly hear things break. At the same time, Blondie barges into the doors of Puzzle, with Eden, the turtle, lagging behind. Now this is a couple looking ready for the true plot, as everyone else gets seemingly baited by the author, as we were all expecting Herring to throw down with his Prince Behemoth. Regardless, it's revealed that Blondie is no unfamiliar sight to the palace of Puzzle, since this isn't her first time giving an elite member of the wolves her collar. However, Dongi, on the other hand, has never seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle before, as he watches him nervously pace around the room. Blondie then interrupts Dongi, trying to explain Puzzle to Eden, as she starts ordering the two servants to reveal which room the first couple ventured into. But her questions get swiftly answered after she starts hearing more things break inside a room beside her, so Blondie starts getting super excited. And so the second couple quickly picks a room, ready to rumble and tussle, as it's finally time for some banana tree seed extractions. As the two groups get it on inside Puzzle, the elders from the Crimson Foxes and the Black Wolves congregate peacefully to drink some tea. But this is all a ruse, as both sides attempt to gain any useful information from the opposite factions. The Wolves want to know if Herring was potent enough to successfully allow two of the strongest Crimson Fox elite to actually get pregnant for the first time. But the Foxes refuse to disclose the information, so they clap back, revealing that they know that the Wolves' population has been in steep decline, enough to be in a very dangerous situation. But then things take a turn, as one of the Wolves' intelligence officers start hinting that the Wolves might offset the balance of the world relatively soon. At the same time, Moon has a private conversation with Yoni, telling her that he truly believes that Ara and Herring are about to bring a big change to the world. With all the foreshadowing, we need some action, so back to Puzzle, where we find Blondie busy trying to listen in on Herring and Ara. However, she gets frustrated after hearing the two lovebirds go quiet again, still not able to realize the two are fighting, not extracting banana seeds. Nevertheless, Eden, like a true Sigma male, starts bouncing on the bed, causing Blondie to get distracted with her chosen man. But as Eden uses the bed as a trampoline, he starts calling out Blondie, telling her how bad she must be craving bananas since she gave him her collar. With Round Boy spitting facts, Blondie actually gets insulted, so she starts regretting her decision for choosing Eden to be the chosen one to explode with her. Meanwhile, inside the other room, Herring and Ara are busy staring at each other in absolute silence. And that's literally all they do. But time to time, they hear Round Boy bouncing from the other room. With the biggest teaser ever in culture history, the Blondie says she's had enough, so she starts walking towards a tired Eden. She then takes the boring matters into her own hands, but she starts comparing Herring to Ara, telling Eden that Ara is going to be king of all nations one day. 68 days later, Eden finally makes a move, so he starts complimenting Blondie about her great perfume choice. And so Blondie finally attacks, so she rips open the packaging for Eden's ice cream cone, ready to use it properly. Eden then blinks once, only to realize that all his packaging disappeared in an instant, almost as if Blondie is a true pro at rice cake smashing. With Blondie and Eden getting the show started, we discover that future Queen is busy interrogating Herring, wanting to know more about the day he let her attack him. But all Herring does is simp for her, claiming on that specific day, he was awestruck at seeing the legendary Ara, since he's never seen a girl prior to their encounter. Herring then continues on, busy complimenting her prowess, explaining from that day on she was carved into his heart. Regardless, with the wholesome encounter, Ara tells him that he can't live a normal life anymore, so she brings up Youngji and Cho. It was at this moment he discovered that he's going to be a dad, confirming to everyone that he's potent as hell. Ara then reveals that this is the first time ever that two elite members successfully completed their life mission, and it was all done by the same person. With the onset of the surprising new information, Herring starts bawling his eyes out, unable to hold in how happy he is. So Ara gets slightly scared, wondering what's wrong with Herring, unable to fathom how a wolf could be so happy knowing that he now needs to pay some child support. While Herring is busy being a proud father, his squad mate is busy watching Blondie turn into a menace as she starts playing around with him. As she attacks, she realizes that Eden needs some help growing the banana tree as all her insults accidentally made cold air shrink his plantation. Luckily, Blondie pulls off her special Twin Dragons reveal move, causing Eden to start growing rapidly. With just one special move, our turtle admits defeat, allowing his primal senses to activate, all because she used bed mass in her calculations. Meanwhile, back to the boring room, Ara orders Herring to keep the information she just revealed top secret, as if word gets out, both Youngji and Cho will be put to eternal sleep in a bottomless pit. As Herring gets shocked with the revelation, so did Eden, as he's unable to believe Blondie was able to slurp up all the Slurpee in one gulp. With Eden experiencing sensory overload due to the elite Blondie, he doesn't realize that Herring is busy taking in only information. As Herring gets shocked with the revelation, so did Eden, as he's unable to believe Youngji was able to slurp up all the Slurpee in one gulp. Instead of experiencing joy and satisfaction, Herring receives the reward of finding out that the royal foxes will attempt their hardest to kidnap him due to his potent seed. However, with the wolves still in the dark, thinking the Herring is just some random rookie, Arad explains that it's highly likely the royal foxes will attempt a secret transaction with the unsuspecting wolves. If they do end up getting hold of him, Herring will become a seed slave, forced to live a life in captivity. Luckily for our boy, Ara offers to teach him a way out, and so he instantly accepts, not wanting his banana plantation to be invaded. With Herring's life on the line, his Garimbi squad member is busy going ham in the other room, enjoying every moment at Puzzle, especially with Blondie at the helm, as she's one of the most experienced out of all the elite, for both genders. Era then reveals that the only way out for him is that he needs to become king. Now our boy was expecting an easier way out, but he does indeed realize that him becoming king will be a surefire way to get out of this pickle. But then Herring shocks the sussy world, as he finally decides to become king, and not because he's a simp for Ara. Instead, he's doing it for his kids, since he doesn't want to be separated and forced to pay child support. Afterwards, the moment we've all been waiting for might actually happen, as he chads up, telling Ara to hurry up as it's time to make their own kids. Unfortunately for our confident Herring, he gets rejected, since Ara tells him that today she won't be doing the sussy. Luckily, Herring decides to activate his trap card as he starts almost looking like he's about to cry, causing Ara to really question him. With his trap card activated, it still fails, with the strongest girl on the planet explaining that she can never take in a seat, as it will be a setback on her becoming queen. With Herring being ultimately baited, she tries to gaslight him, telling him that this isn't fair at all, even though they are literally in a room meant for rice cake smashing only. As such, I start to shed water for our boy as he begins to cry as well. But then the turntables turn, as Ara finally crumbles at the sight of Herring bursting into tears, so she says fine, let's clap. With Ara finally accepting responsibility, she tells Herring that he has exactly 1 minute of fun, and that's it. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure looking like Karim speeds through a forest with all his might, looking like he's either escaping or chasing someone. But then we discover that the black serang is trailing behind him, struggling to keep up with the speed of his captain. Eventually, he gives up chasing after him, so he starts questioning his life, since if he can't keep up with his captain, and his captain can't keep up with Ara, then who can keep up with the Legend 27? But since the black serang is a kind soul, he starts thinking about Herring, hoping that he doesn't get destroyed by Ara at the Battle of Puzzle. However, as he's busy catching his breath, another mysterious man speeds by out of nowhere. The black serang is able to catch a glimpse of the man, causing him to tremble slightly, since it turns out there's actually 3 of them.